Welcome to the MAGA Minute. It's been a huge week here at the White House, and let's go over the wins President Trump delivered on behalf of you, the American people. On immigration, illegal migrant encounters between the ports of entry are down nearly 87%. On the economy, President Trump laid out a plan to establish a sovereign wealth fund to better invest the more than $5 trillion in assets held by the United States. He also proposed tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and China, and those tariffs were swiftly paused after our allies agreed to step up and address these issues. We are streamlining USAID into the State Department. President Trump signed a historic executive order to ban men in women's sport. Lastly, President Trump is already making our military strong again. Army recruitment in the month of December, with the anticipation of President Trump's return to the Oval Office, hit a 15-year high. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute. Welcome to the MAGA.
Good morning. Rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show, and this is the For Liberty Network. What's up? Luke Mills, I see you there in the chat. Nice to see everybody hanging out bright and early on the Wake Up America show. I appreciate you guys. People like Floby Tenderson, Dad Bod Baboon, Tater Salad. Can you bless me with something? What's up, Bruce Spurt Whistle? If I repeat names, forgive me. I'm trying to make sure I get everybody. Nelson65, Jose MMA, Joni Rankin, Caleb Vanderfeltz, Cecilia, Joni, T-Mill22, Grizz Cheese. I think I got everybody. Drew Van Runkle. There we go. You got to get the van. Hey, guys. Nice to see you all. How are you feeling, Austin? Oh, does everybody care about how Austin feels? How's Austin feel today? I feel like crap, honestly. Not like physically sick, but like, kind of mentally ill.
No, God.
But you just have to put on a smile. The show must go on, as they say. I'm just really frustrated about this situation going on over with X, right? Where my account has been hacked for 6 days. It's affecting my business. Right, it's affecting my ability to, broadcast the For Liberty Network links, promote Daniela, promote the Liberty Tonight guys when they're live. I can't post links to their shows. I can't post links to my business over there. And, I spent years building that account. And so it's just frustrating, right? And you see it every day. And, when you commit to this lifestyle that I have lived, right, and you're a public figure, you have to accept that, people are just going to crap on you every single day, right? Every single day, no matter what happens, no matter what you do, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Twitter, you have to endure an endless deluge of white-hot hatred, an insane amount of hatred every day. People just taking the most personal biting of insults at you every single day because people know about your life, right? They go out there, they take anything they can to use against you. So like, I'm constantly subjected to a stream of things like, your mother is dead, right? And like, just attacks on my wife's beauty or my daughter that, people say that they want to murder my daughter and things like that on it. It's just every day, right? And you have to just accept it that this is part of this process, right? But there's just this profound sense of betrayal that you feel when you see people who really should, I think, should be supporting you in a situation like this where, I've done nothing wrong. And all I've done is I've been victimized by hackers. We're going to play some clips here of Nancy Mace, speaking of being a victim, but hers, of course, on a much worse, much grander scale. She took to Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina took to the floor of the House of Representatives yesterday. And she gave a speech, a 50-minute speech that would just unbelievable. It just knocked my socks off when I saw it. And I'm going to share some clips of that with you this morning where she details her assault at the hands of her ex-fiance and some of her friends. I mean, just came out of left field and just gave me a wallop this morning when I was watching it and saying to myself, unbelievable, all of what's going on with her. And, you know, I was kind of starting to not pay attention to Nancy Mace as much just because she's been on this big sort of like outrage tirade ranting stuff about trans bathrooms, which, don't get me wrong, you know, I think, you know, I probably agree with her on maybe the trans bathroom issue or the trans and sports things. But I can tell when a politician is starting to, like, you know, play something up for just the fundraising dollars and stuff, because again, I know this business and I understand how it works. So I was kind of like starting to like mute her a little bit and just be kind of like, all right, Nancy, like I get it, right? We don't let boys and girls schools, right? Like, let's look at Doge, right? I've got to move on to other issues. But last night, she, you know, just when I was out, she dragged me back in. And I was watching her speech detailing her assault on the floor of the House of Representatives. It's tough stuff to watch. Today will be a challenging episode. And I've got a myriad of topics. I hope I can get through all of them. The news has been really strange lately because for a while, for the first 2 weeks of the administration, you know, it was just all these rapid cuts. But then, you know, after you kind of like, you know, come back together and you start to like gather your wits and deal with an administration where things are such a quick moving target. You know, the news has just gotten kind of strange in the last week. I think the Super Bowl really kind of messed things up because it sort of injected itself into the discussion where it really had no business being. I mean, let's be honest, no offense. Every year is the same stupid mother-fucking story every year. And this year, the only difference was it was Taylor Swift and everybody hated her anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's like... And the Kansas City Chiefs didn't win, so just a stupid story all around. And nobody cares. So here we go. I know everybody cares, but I don't care. I don't care, and I'll never care. He doesn't watch sports. I don't care, right? I'd rather see. For me, in football, I like to watch the football in its purest form. Take away the ball and just have two men get into a ring and beat the absolute piss out of each other. It's called MMA. Right? If I have to sit around and watch sports and drink beer, then I would rather watch two grown men beat the hell out of each other, right? It's the same thing, right? It's just no pads, okay? Well, I guess pads on their hands. Welcome to the Wake Up America show, MMA Supreme. And the traditional martial arts above all, yes. Don't forget to click the like button, guys. Today's your first time watching the Wake Up America show, then I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, click the follow button as well. We do have a billion clips to play. I've got some news stories. Kanye West apparently did a Super Bowl ad, and he used it to sell Nazi shirts. What? I don't care anymore. So Nazi shirts, I mean, Kanye West is just attention hungry, right? And maybe we should, by talking about him, we're sort of like playing into this whole thing. But I mean, he was relevant for a half second, I think, when the first time he decided to run for president. And then when he jumped on board the MAGA train and he was meeting with Donald Trump in the White House in the first term, that was like, okay, Kanye, this is kind of interesting. Right, but as you saw, I mean, I read the commentaries about the football halftime, Kendrick Lamar. I didn't watch it. I see when I say it's the same story every year, it's the conservatives are outraged because of some gay shit in the football league, which, you know, sooner or later, all the sports are going to be woke anyway. So they're almost already all there anyway. But, you know, it's every year it's the same damn story. Okay, the only reason I thought it was interesting because it was my Chiefs, my Kansas City Chiefs. Rugby is more interesting to watch, says Chris Cheese. Yes, thank you very much. I'd rather go fishing. You know what I'd rather do than watch football? I'd rather watch Bill Dance bloopers videos from the 1980s, like the ones I used to watch with my dad, and just laugh my ass off. We got any Bill Dance fans out there in the Wake Up America show land? So I don't know what really there is to say about Kanye West hawking Nazi shirts on his thing. I guess there are probably some people in some parts of the world that think that's cool. Frankly, I think he's a stupid fuck. Pardon my French. You know, 751 Trump IRS deportation. Did you see this? Donald Trump wants to take IRS agents who he has joked about and said they're armed anyway. They're armed to the teeth. Might as well put them on the border. I love it, man. This is not the same Trump as 2016. This is not the same Trump. It's not the same energy. It's a completely different ball game. And I have to say it's refreshing. I hoped and I dreamed that this would be the Donald Trump that we would get in the second term. And it is, right? And warts and all, right? I don't agree with everything the Trump administration is doing. I get no end of hell for it from the way, now that our side is in charge, it's like you can't speak ill of the king. You can never do, and you will always have to deal with this, right? It's like, okay, right? Like, I have a set of principles and beliefs that I follow, and, am I willing to compromise and things like that? Yeah, sure. But like, in my heart of hearts, am I going to defend the absolute base defense of, am I going to defend individual liberty? Am I going to defend economic freedom? Am I going to defend these things, these core principles that I think are what makes America great while we're making America great again? You damn straight. And I try not to burn bridges. But apparently, I have burned some bridges. And on that earlier subject of, you find out who your friends are when the chips are down. You find out who really gets your back and who doesn't. And a lot of people have reached out to me since I got hacked. Personally, some people have sent me DMs because I am using an alternate account to be able to see what's going on X / Twitter, right? By the way, we're going to speak to Camelia Peterson at 8 a.m. Central Time this morning about this. I think this story it's starting to bubble up into my news feeds. It's this lady who was in contention for the Oscars, and I say lady loosely because it's a transgender actress who said like conservative things in the past and also some, just not nice jokes perhaps about ethnic minorities and and Hitler, who they spelled Hilter, so just, I don't know. I just see it as jokes maybe, or just ignorance. But you find out who your friends are when things like this happen to you. And I was kind of surprised to see Justin Amash had tweeted yesterday, free Austin Peterson. Let's say thank you to Justin Amash. And don't get me wrong, just like in terms of like political strategy and things in the past few years, I've had my differences with Justin Amash, but I got to give it to the guy, right? He's really stand up. And, yesterday, when he saw that Stephanie, who's been out there being my number one advocate, just fighting like hell for me, AP. Love, God, let's give some love for Steffi. What would AP be without Steffi P for Liberty, let me tell you. And yesterday, Justin Amash posted this. He said, free Austin Peterson over on X, which I appreciate that. And my wife Steffi's in there for the assist. And you got to be careful of reading too much into the hate comments because, there's like 15 replies here and I don't know how many more requotes or whatever, but there's like 378 hearts on that. And most people, they don't leave nice comments. Most people who leave comments leave hate comments, and people who are like they're usually silent and they just click the heart and they move on. But you see who your friends are in times like this when you're struggling, because this is really dangerous for me, guys. And you're watching kind of a drama unfold here in real time, because it's a threat to me, it's a threat to my business, and it's a threat to my family, right? It's a threat to our security to have something like this happening. And these are the dangers, of course, that you face. But, when you're not like in a Ben Shapiro position, as, we're working our way towards being like a libertarian Daily Wire, in a sense, the For Liberty Network, you don't have those big heavy hitters coming in who are going to go to bat for you. We're scrappy, right? We're underdogs. We're bootstrappers. And, Stephanie and I, we're building this whole network out of, our own ferocity. It's just our own tenacity. And just sheer grit, raising a family and trying to do one of the most competitive and difficult things to do in the world, right? And to make it in media and politics. And so when things like this happen, and, maybe I just want to be real careful how I say this, but it's true. Not just you find out who your friends are, but you realize like how terrible the libertarian movement is in the United States, like the low quality of it. And a lot of my perspective on this is shaped by my analysis of the Argentine libertarian movement in the last year because of all the successes they've had with Javier Milei. Give it up for Javier Milei. But you realize just how terrible the libertarian movement is. And like, I need to go through all the comments here, right? And you do get some people who are some more right. But he gets less interesting the more his hairline recedes, says Tim Apple, right? Okay, funny, I guess. The last couple of years, Austin has gone over the deep end, in my opinion. I feel like I've just become more based. Are you sure this wasn't done as a righteous violation of the NAP? Austin doesn't seem to think if you don't like the other person's belief that the NAP is no longer justified. See, these people they're so angry and they're so stupid, right? Archie, really, Justin Amash? You have lost the plot. And then he goes on and he fights with this guy for pages and pages talking about what trash. Here's the thing. These are the people that are supposed to be the allies, right? Nah, private company and all this. Your party wanted this. Nah, absolutely not. You can't build a libertarian. You can't win alone, right? You can't win this kind of battle, a political battle, a war against armies with one person. You just can't, right? And, Stephanie and I are fighting so hard to build a liberty network full of credible, interesting, funny people who are principled, and you can actually sit the type of people that you can like go out and party with, but then also still bring home to mom. Like they won't scare your parents in a way, right? It's approachable in a sense, right? Not angry, spurgy, autistic, right? But these are the people that I'm supposed to build an army with. These are the people that I'm supposed to see as allies. And supposedly we believe in the same things, libertarianism, limited government. It's not to say there aren't a lot of good people out there. I saw L-Dubs, Latrell, like he's out there in the chat, like throwing up some support. I appreciate that, Latrell. L-Dubs, you've been a real superhero for us. But, there's a reason why the libertarian movement in the United States is stalled and going nowhere. It's unbelievable to watch Donald Trump and his not libertarian groups, MAGA army, go out and win all these victories for liberty. I'm just like, go, man, guys, run. Use a football analogy. Go run to the, give him the ball and let him run with it. That's what I say, right? To get out of Donald Trump's way and let Ron Paul audit the Federal Reserve. What do you say? There we go. So for those who are asking for my alt Twitter over in the chat, I see you, Robbie. It's at TheLib Republic, TheLib Republic, at the Lib Republic. It's my other X account is at the Lib Republic, and you can find me over there so that you can still see some of my commentary. And mostly it's just me raging at Twitter support saying, why are you not doing anything about this? We got some new Gulf of America merch, guys, now that it's official. I think the new Gulf of America merch is pretty hot. So I made this myself yesterday. I thought you guys would like it. And fans of the old Jolly Roger, I know some of you are fans of an old Jolly Rogering. Go to the Gulf of America collection at forlibertyshop.com. And if you sort it from new to old, if you click on the products, sort by up here in the top right, it's underneath the chat over there, but you can see it. Date new to old. You can see the newest items that we have. I think the Jolly Roger Gulf of America merch is smoking hot. People just freaking love the beach towels, the Gulf of America beach towels, which makes sense, the Gulf Beach. But they've also been big fans of the tumblers. And I'm telling you what, guys, see my awesome Gulf of America tumbler. These are super high quality. I took it to the gym last night. Keeps my ice cold. I'll come back later and the ice is still in it. Very good thermos style effect there. And it's got one of those straws that doesn't come out. So you don't have to worry about like losing your straw or anything like that. So get your awesome Gulf of America. And it's like, check out the American low poly US flag skull and crossbones Gulf of America pirate flag beach tail. I know what you're saying. We need to make that into a flag so that people can fly it off of the back of their boats in the Gulf of America. What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? LDub78 says, always got your back. Sadly, I strongly agree with your lack of quality in the liberty movement. I ask myself, do we have libertarians who can even handle media the way Trump and JD can? Doubtful. Very doubtful. and very sad and sorry to hear about it, because it's just, we're going to have a hard time getting our more hardcore ideas across the finish line, because you have to convince the American people that these are good ideas. All right, let's get to the news, guys. I've wasted 25 minutes of your time. I hope that you have not felt that was wasted. And if you feel like it was not wasted, then click the like button over there in the Wake Up America show. And if you are a fan of what the content is that you're seeing today, do not forget to click the follow button. I know that the people who listen to the audio version of the Wake Up America show later must be very confused. This is Nancy Mace. This story came out of nowhere, and I read it this morning. Nancy Mace accused her depraved ex-fiance and his business partners of abuse against her and a dozen other women in this explosive speech. She named names out on the floor of the House of Representatives. It's an unbelievable story. It just exploded after Representative Mace took to the floor last night. Take a listen.
And someone filmed it. And someone filmed it. One night in 2022, I found myself at a property owned by Patrick Bryant and Brian Musgrave on the Isle of Palms in South Carolina. Business partners Patrick Bryant and Eric Bowman were both there. I was served 2 small vodka sodas, like this glass right here, 2 small vodka sodas, like anyone would have at their neighborhood restaurant. A short time later, I blacked out. I have never blacked out after having a vodka soda or any adult beverage ever in my life. It's never happened. But I know who has. The women raped on those tapes that I saw, the women raped that I spoke to over the course of the last year. The stories of these women were all too familiar. Now I know why. My memories of that night are just flashes in and out of the dark, flashes in and out of the night. I was raped that night. Was it Patrick Bryant? I don't know. But I was raped. I believe that they purposely incapacitated me. Was anyone else there? Was it filmed? Was it sold on the dark web? I have no idea. But I know what these men do to their victims. I learned firsthand about the weaponization of government going through this trauma because I met it.
This is wild. So this is Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina. She accused her ex-fiance and 3 business partners of committing depraved crimes against herself and a dozen other women. This includes underage girls, the story is just leading every major headline I'm seeing this morning. South Carolina Republican Politico said she came forward with these shocking allegations of rape, voyeurism, and other sexual abuse after uncovering a trove of more than 10,000 videos and other photographic evidence contained on the phone of her former husband-to-be, Patrick Bryant. You may be wondering to yourself, why would she do something like this on the floor of the House? Right? Why wouldn't she just take this to law enforcement? Well, apparently she did take it to law enforcement, and she got threatened. Yes, she got threatened by law enforcement. She went to the Attorney General of her state. Here's the clip. I'll just let her explain it.
Lies in the truth. Real men are protectors. They're not predators. South Carolina's chief
real men are both
law enforcement.
But I know what you mean.
Enforcement officer, Attorney General Alan Wilson, stated,
and don't talk to us about real men, please.
2 weeks ago tonight, that he will let his, quote, record speak for itself. Attorney General Alan Wilson, be careful what you wish for, because your record speaks loud and clear. Women who come forward in your system are treated like criminals. Under your leadership, in your system, and on your watch.
All right, so you're wondering, why would she take to the floor with a speech about this? This personal issue, she should go to the police. Well, apparently she did, and this is the situation that she's in, right? The Attorney General did nothing for her. Now, if you were to say something like this publicly against someone in any other setting, you could be putting yourself in danger of being sued for either libel or slander, depending on how you say it or if you write it. Everybody remembers the differences between libel and slander, right? Remember that scene from Spider-Man with Jonah? So she is safe from the potential for lawsuits by going to the floor of the House of Representatives. And it's kind of a brilliant play for her to get up and to say it here, because she is now immune from being sued for the things that she says on the floor of the House of Representatives. People can get up on the floor of the House of Representatives and say anything they want. You can't say that out in the real world, of course, but she's using her privilege here as a congresswoman to make this speech and to call out the people who allegedly assaulted her.
Attorney General Alan Wilson, you know there were deliberate delays in an investigation in what I turned over. 228 days of delay, and you know this. 228 days of delay. That's 7 months, 2 weeks, and 4 days of delay to investigate. Once again, today, you are kicking the can down the road like you always do. You are known for it.
Now, pause. It is important to remember that Mace did not present evidence during her remarks, but she is shielded from potential criminal prosecution and civil lawsuits by the Constitution's Speech and Debate Clause, which provides lawmakers with immunity for, quote, acts taken within the legislative sphere. So she is protected there, and who knows what the outcome of this is going to be. I imagine that this furor will continue until such time as people demand evidence, and they should demand evidence. These are very serious crimes that she's alleging. She's accusing her ex-fiance. She's accusing her ex-fiance of having photographs of underage girls. I mean, we're talking about a serious crime. We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein level kind of stuff here. And so we better see some evidence for that pretty soon.
Take this Bible a friend gave to me. I'm going to place my hand on this Bible. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Today I'm going to free myself from the monster who broke me. Today I'm going to free other women who fell prey to the same man. Today I will free other women further from a group of men who committed the most evil acts against them. I want every woman and girl to know in the country, you have a friend and you have a sister in me. And I will fight like hell for you every day of the week.
Okay. Nancy Mace claims she discovered digital files on her ex-fiance's phone. They included non-consensual, this happened in November of 2023. They included non-consensual images of female employees, wives of male employees, girlfriends, and other women who clearly didn't know their private parts were being filmed or photographed. And the Congresswoman Nancy Mace, during her speech, it was 50 minutes long last night, said that it also included upskirt photos of at least one underage girl who was the daughter of a business associate. Yuck. What is wrong with you? Yes, exactly. Boo all you want there. Nancy Mace said, last year I had to tell a woman that she had been raped and she didn't even know it. Jesus. Musk says that she discovered a video of Bryant, her ex-fiance, and one of his business associates allegedly recording another business associate assaulting an incapacitated woman. She had no idea because she was incapacitated at the time. Mace said, I knew she was raped because I accidentally found the video of her being raped. The two of them, the three of them business partners, the two of them had their phones out just like this, filming her as she was being assaulted, and she was completely laid out. There was no movement. There was no life. I couldn't even tell if this young woman was alive. Now, Mace, again, she presented no evidence during the remarks, but of course, evidence in this case, not the kind of thing that you want to be showing out on the floor of the House of Representatives, right? She's shielded from potential criminal prosecution and civil lawsuits because the Constitution, again, has a speech and debate clause. So lawmakers have immunity for acts that they take within the legislative sphere. So she's claiming she told the state attorney general's office that there were children present on the property where the woman was allegedly assaulted, but that state social workers were not notified. Mace also alleged that one of Bryant's business associates had tried to intimidate her from bringing the evidence to light, and that South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson failed to probe the act as a witness intimidation, despite apparently opening investigation into the crime allegations. Now, Bryant, the Attorney General, has denied Mace's allegations. He's said it specifically in the statement to the New York Times, saying that I take this matter seriously and will cooperate fully with any necessary legal processes to clear my name. The Congresswoman said it took Wilson's office 7 months from the time she first came forward with the allegations and evidence for an investigation to be open. Wow. Would not want to be a resident of South Carolina because there's not a lot that's going to get done on the criminal justice side of things with all this going on right now. Good morning, Pineapples. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. It's nice to see Amy J.E.'s. It's just not the same without Amy. Q Faye joining us live here on the Wake Up America show, as well as Joni Rankin and Quest Fanning. Hey, guys. How you doing? It's a big story. It's a difficult story. It's a challenging story. And, I try and keep my show as light as possible. And we try and have fun here on the Wake Up America show. When you got big stories, big things like that, you just got to be really careful with them. And you need to cover them. But I think we've done it for long enough, guys. I hope that you guys are enjoying the Wake Up America show. And if you are, please do click the like button. We'd love to have you be a regular guest on the show. And you can do so when you click the follow button as well. Did you know that we have a text line and you can send me a text message and let me know what's on your mind at any time? I check those text messages all the time. You can send me a text at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. One listener is pissed at me. He says, more Milton Friedman, please stop the idiotic pineapple crap. He says, I cannot share with my friends and family any podcast with the pineapple stupidity. Austin.
Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good, very nice. Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good, very nice.
Good morning. Listen, the show isn't for everybody, and I get it. I understand. There's lots of shows where people are serious the whole time and they wear suits and ties and they talk very angrily and they use talking points. And then you've also got libertarian shows where they just play Milton Friedman clips over and over, and it's just a rote recitation perhaps of the news, and nothing is offensive and everything is high-minded. But this is my show. So you get Good Morning Pineapple and you get Milton Friedman, and that's how it's going to be. If I want to focus test a show, it would look something like, Benny Johnson or something like that. Or just American flags everywhere, country music in the background. You are angry and I'm going to take advantage of you. Woo! Right? If I was just in it for the money, but I'm trying to have a little fun and do a little Milton Friedman. Can't we have it both? And can you bless me with something?
Can you bless me with something?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, gosh.
Money-wise, yes. So if you like the pineapples, then make a Rumble Rant donation today. Let's show them how we like it. Do we like the Wake Up America show? That's really the best test. Money really is the best test. It's like, do I like it this way? Do I not like it this way? I will take your silence and your lack of Rumble Rants as a sign that it is time to say, good morning, pineapple. This might be the last pineapple you ever hear.
Good morning, pineapple.
Say goodbye.
Looking very good, very nice. Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good, very nice.
One listener texted in this morning, too, at 573-319-1586 and says they've been suspended for X for violent speech for 2 weeks because calling for extirpating an invasive species is violence. Well, that's very, very big word there, extirpating. Oh, Steelbringer. Good morning, pineapple. Thank you, Steelbringer. And thanks for the gifted sub earlier. We appreciate that. One listener texted in, Quest Fanning. What did he have to say? Wow. He just texted me with wow, and then there's nothing else. This is a very odd text. Nelson65 says he wants to good morning pineapples. Come on, Brian Parson. Get on board the pineapple train. We're all having a good time over here. Can't we have our news and a little bit of fun with it? Andy Opperman, pineapple support. There's a lot of pineapple love this morning. Keep giving that pineapple love. Cecilia H says, pineapple love. I've been trying to save up for the DC trip, so here's a little rant. Thank you. Rumble rants are the way to show support for the Pineapple Squad this morning. Donald Trump sat down for a wide-ranging, comprehensive interview with Brett Baer yesterday, and here's how it went.
A lot of people have said that this has been the greatest opening, almost 3 weeks, in the history of the presidency.
It's definitely been the fastest and the most stuff
Well,
happening.
we've done so much so fast, and we really had to, because they have really, what they've done to our country is so sad. It's so sad. We're going to be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
Yeah, I lived in Washington, D.C. for some time. Thank you, Robbie. Pineapple love. I lived in D.C. for some time, so I still talk to a lot of my friends there. And everybody I know in Washington, D.C. is shocked. Nobody could have seen it coming, except for the most insidery of insiderings. Thank you, Joni Rankin. Pineapple love. Team Pineapple. And yeah, it is. I mean, if you haven't sort of lived in the center of in the eye of the storm for as long as I have, it can be kind of difficult to get the feeling of the change. I mean, it's almost like the tension in the air. It's like sandpaper. Now, the first time that Donald Trump was in office, Washington, D.C. was still a liberal palace and a stronghold. They used the power of impeachment and the fake Russiagate conspiracy to keep him on his back toes. He was getting betrayed, backstabbed every turn, right? And, all these criminal prosecutions were brewing, and all these attempts to stop him from getting anything done. But the second time, I mean, it was like he spent the last 4 years of the Biden administration, the Biden years, not just campaigning for the presidency, but actually preparing for a real conflict of which he knew the stakes. He knew who the key players would be. He knew who he wanted on his team. He'd had the opportunity to come back and he took it seriously. And I think that is probably one of the less discussed aspects of this, because Trump's a funny guy, and a lot of people don't take him seriously because anybody who has a sense of humor and you know what I'm saying,
Good morning, pineapple.
people are just they really get chafed because there is a significant part of our population. I'm not sure how much of it is, but it's got to be at least 35%, I would say, of the population who are terminally incapable of taking a joke or being around people who have a sense of humor. And sure, a lot of the Democrat attacks are just attacks because he's the opposing team. They attack him as a Democrat. But of those 35% of people, remember, a lot of those are never Trumpers who hate him too, because when he makes jokes they can't understand that. They don't understand the big balls stuff with Elon Musk and Doge and all this kind of stuff. They are terminally incapable of taking a joke because they take offense at everything. And so they don't take him seriously, and they underestimate him. And you've seen even some on the left are starting to point that out. What was it, Van Jones on CNN? I think I played a clip here a couple of weeks ago where you heard Van Jones saying, please stop calling him an idiot. Please stop saying he's stupid. He's smarter than all of us. He's got a movement. Some on the left do recognize this, because I think Trump's sense of humor is not just a way to get people to like him, to seem more affable, but it's also a bit of a ruse, right? Comedy is, if you're having an argument with someone, if you're having a public argument with someone especially, the funnier person wins, always. The funnier person always wins the argument. It does not matter how many facts you bring to the table. The person who is the funniest can be the biggest liar and the biggest idiot. And it doesn't matter, because people don't care. They just want to be entertained. They just want to laugh. They just want to feel like they're on the side of the cool kids. People will justify all manner of evil or stupidity in order to be on the side of the people that they think is funny, right? And that's a statement on the crowd, not necessarily Trump, but I think Trump does use his humor to win arguments, even when he may or may not be right. But I will say that the fact that the left, that the portion of the left that is terminally incapable of taking a joke, that they still continue to underestimate him, that they still think they're hornswoggled. That's the word for it. They're hornswoggled, aren't they? They're hornswoggled. That's a good, funny word. They could not see Trump coming because they did not take him seriously. And this time he came in armed and ready for the elephant gun. He's Bert from Tremors 2, Tremors 3, Tremors 4, Tremors 5. I don't know how many Tremors movies there are. But he came with a gun, and he's armed, locked and loaded. And he came in and he's firing in all directions. And it needed to be done. And all of the people that I knew were the worst people in D.C., the type of people who have no principles, that everything that they do is just a clear, open quest for power and for control. Those people are all suffering right now, and it is just so beautiful. Like, these are the people, like, their lives are perfect, right? They grew up in Nantucket, right? Or, they're from Connecticut and Vermont, and there's all these East Coasty people who have been, to this point, ruling our lives, lording over us. All of these people that are so unhappy, right? And I go, I hear about the people in Washington, D.C. I'm like, it reminds me of a story from history where when Andrew Jackson won the White House, he had a party and invited everybody who wanted to come to the White House and party. The biggest party ever. It's very Trumpian in a way. And there are stories of how drunk people got with buckets of alcohol strewn out onto the White House lawn. And I think Andrew Jackson got up to give a speech, stood up on like a chair and gave a speech like during the party there, and just standing on a chair. And no, it wasn't Andrew Jackson. It was, so somebody had muddy boots, all right, and got up with their muddy boots on a chair, and they were like, I don't know, some drunk person at the White House. And it's very Trumpian. And you can understand why there is this kind of affinity for Andrew Jackson from Donald Trump. Although these days he's cheating on Andrew Jackson with McKinley, renaming that mountain. Donald Trump came locked and loaded and ready to fight, and all the worst people in Washington, D.C. are crying, and I am here for it.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that I think you have a lot of very capable people. So far, I think he's doing a fantastic job. It's too early. We're just starting.
But by the time you get to the midterms, he's going to be looking for an endorsement.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that this has been the greatest opening, almost 3 weeks, in the history of the presidency.
It's definitely been the fastest and the most stuff
Well,
happening.
we've done so much so fast, and we really had to, because they have really, what they've done to our country is so sad. It's so sad. We're going to be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
Fascinating President Trump. I mean, unbelievable to have the balls to say something like that. I mean, it's not a political answer. He said what he really thinks, and then he didn't want to continue on. He didn't want to elucidate further. He decided not to talk about it more. He just answered him directly, and God bless him. I think it's refreshing. Because with Mitt Romney, they would have hemmed and hawed and been this or that. But I mean, just listen to the way that the man answers the questions. I mean, firmly and decisively, no.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that I think you have a lot of very capable people. So far, I think he's doing a fantastic job.
Now, you could say, oh, well, he's hedging his bets, right? He's just, he's hedging his bets, like, because he doesn't want to be on the wrong side of whoever the winner is of the primary, the next team. That might be true to a certain extent, right? It might just be sole calculation of self-protection. But I'll have to say, the reason why I don't necessarily think of it that way is because when he was asked if he thought he was successor, he didn't say yes or no. He's, or he didn't kind of hem and haw. He said firmly no, which is a definitive answer. He does not see J.D. Vance as his successor, which, I mean, that would be a blow, honestly, to J.D. Vance in many ways. But I will say that I got to give it up for Trump for just having the cojones to give a yes or no answer, to have the cojones to say, no, he does not see him as his successor. That is just such a challenging question that Bret Baier, and kudos to Bret Baier for asking it. Jimmy Joe Patty over on Rumble, he's a little confused in the text mark. What's up, Jimmy Joe Patty? Nice to see you, brother. I think we've seen you a couple of times here recently. He was asking about people who had been gifted a membership on Culturama. He says he signed up, he thought he was getting premium. That membership doesn't apply to all shows. So I know it's a little confusing, and now that the Rumble is starting a new creator program, it's a little tough to kind of understand like the difference between a membership and a subscription and all that. So if you want to support me and support my channel directly, you can become a monthly subscriber to my channel, and that gets you some perks and benefits, like you're automatically entered into a prize drawing that we do at the end of each month, and you get a 20% discount on my For Liberty shop. And you also get to use like the fun little emojis that I have that are the exclusive emojis for people who are subs. For people like L-Dubs and Luke Sacker, they have like the little red castle next to their names. That means that they are a subscriber to my channel, right? And that gives them all of those perks. They get a 20% discount. They get the gift drawings every month, and then they get the exclusive emojis. Drop some of those exclusive emojis, guys, in the chat so people can see what they have access to. But then there's Rumble Premium, which I don't get credit for now, but I will next month, starting next month as part of the creator program. If you become a Rumble Premium subscriber, or if you support me in other ways, like if you sign up for rumble.com and start an account and then follow my channel first, then I would get credit for having brought you to Rumble. And that is, but that all starts next month. And so what that is it's a Rumble Premium subscription. And they charge $10 a month or like $90 a year. You can get a discount if you use the code STUDIO, by the way. And I do it. It's a way to support Rumble, and it takes away ads. So if you get those annoying ads that pop up here on Rumble and you want those to go away, then a Rumble Premium membership will do that for you. I mean, you could do it now if you want, but it would be better for me if you waited until next month when I'm part of the Rumble Creator Program, because then I'll actually get credit for it if you do it on my channel. But I do it. If I didn't, then it would say Rumble Studio in the top left-hand corner of your screen that you're looking at right now, but it doesn't because I'm a Rumble Premium member, so I don't get commercials on Rumble. I can use Rumble Studio, and next month I'll be in the creator program. So the Rumble Premium membership is for Rumble, and the Rumble subscription is for the channels, right? It's a way to support your favorite channel. I know that's a little bit confusing. I'm sorry about that. But if you have any other questions, just ask people in the chat, and I'm sure that they'll be more than happy to help you out, right? It was kudos to Donald Trump for answering a yes or no question by just saying no. It would be nice, it's nice to hear somebody just saying no. Donald Trump's then saying things that it's like somebody, the fingernails on the blackboard for me. It's like, please, no, Trump, stop.
The tough part is that if you don't want to cut entitlements and you do want to add to defense spending and you want to eliminate taxes on tips and you want to make the 2017 tax cuts permanent,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
But we're going to take in tremendous amounts of money on tariffs. We're going to have tariffs. We're going to take in tremendous amounts of money.
And you think DOGE
because
is
it's
going to
unfair.
make up some
it's not
difference?
DOGE. Well, DOGE
Just cut the spending, and then you don't need the money.
is going to make up a lot, but that's unrelated to tariffs. It's not fair that other countries have really taken advantage of us, and it's our leader's fault, but I'm
He's
a different
right.
leader. It's not fair that other countries have taken advantage of us for so many years, and
He's right to a certain extent. They do we do get taken advantage of, and we do get screwed by, and we do get looked down upon and spit upon by other countries.
now all of a sudden we're not allowed to have tariffs, but they've had tariffs for years. They've done this to us for years. and we haven't. And I think reciprocal tariffs, I'll be talking about it. I think probably on Monday or Tuesday I'll have a whole big thing. We have a very sophisticated plan.
The tough part is
Very sophisticated plan. Well, I hope it works out, but taxes suck and I hate them.
I watched some of these horrible people like Maxine Waters, real sleaze, and I watched her screaming at the security guard or whoever he was. He was pretty cool.
at the Department of
He
Education.
was pretty cool standing in front of the Department of Education. She's only looking for trouble. She's not looking to help people learn. Look, tell Maxine and all of her friends that we're last in education. Out of 40 states, we're last. We're number 40. But we're number 1 in cost per pupil. That's all you have to know. We have to make a change. I want to send education back to the states.
Oh, God, isn't that so good? See, just when I think I'm out, he sucks me back in. I love to see it. We've got Camelia Peterson joining us here live in about 5 minutes. I'll ask her thoughts on the Nancy Mace situation. We'll talk to her about that. And Missouri getting rid of its income tax. Oh my Lanta. Who said it?
Everyone thinks Israel, with our help or our approval, will go in and bomb the hell out of them. I would prefer that not happen. I'd much rather see a deal with Iran where we can do a deal, supervised, check it, inspect it, and then blow it up, or just make sure that there's no more nuclear. That we just
a better deal than the Obama nuclear deal.
Well, that was the dumbest deal. By the way, that would have expired by now. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. It was a short-term deal. You can't make a deal with just a few years on it. That deal would be expired by now. Think of it. And they would have a legal right to have a nuclear weapon. You cannot allow Iran, or just about anybody else, by the way, but especially Iran, because they are very militant. I mean, they're very, very militant. You can't allow them to have a nuclear weapon. But there's 2 ways of stopping them, with bombs or with a written piece of paper. And I'd much rather do a deal that's not going to hurt them. And I think they wanted to. I think that Iran is very concerned. I think that Iran is very frightened, to be honest with you, because their defense is pretty much gone. Maybe they're trying to get new defense as we speak, meaning air defense. But their defense is largely gone. They've had some very bad moments. The whole thing with the pagers was a disaster for them. The pagers, you know what I'm talking about. It was a horrible thing, but it was, it knocked out a lot of leadership.
So Trump's talking about the Israeli mission to supply Hamas with pagers, and to be the ones who got into their supply of pagers, giving them pagers loaded with explosives, and taking out a lot of their leadership by blowing them up with their own pagers. It was a beautiful thing.
Nobody's ever seen before. But I think Iran is very nervous. I think they're scared. Mm-hmm. This would have never happened. And let's see whether or not Fox lets you put that in, okay? Yeah.
Donald Trump talks to President Zelensky about if they are going to take our money, they should be giving us rare earth minerals. I mean, we shouldn't be giving them money, but if we're going to be doing it anyway, then perhaps we should get something for it. Your thoughts? No, it's not a very Scott Horton-friendly foreign policy here on the Wake Up America show. Sorry, guys. I guess I'm not a real libertarian. He's not a real libertarian. I'm a Javier Milei libertarian. From Argentina. We'll be right back with Camelia Peterson. Don't go away. So, Wake Up America, not a real libertarian show. Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian, and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
Conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist! Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins!
A minute. It's been a huge week here at the White House, and let's go over the wins President Trump delivered on behalf of you, the American people. On immigration, illegal migrant encounters between the ports of entry are down nearly 87%. On the economy, President Trump laid out a plan to establish a sovereign wealth fund to better invest the more than $5 trillion in assets held by the United States. He also proposed tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and China, and those tariffs were swiftly paused after our allies agreed to step up and address these issues. We are streamlining USAID into the State Department. President Trump signed a historic executive order to ban men in women's sport. Lastly, President Trump is already making our military strong again. Army recruitment in the month of December, with the anticipation of President Trump's return to the Oval Office, hit a 15-year high. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
MAGA Minute. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. Glad and thankful to have you here. Click the like button if you haven't already. Make sure that you click follow as well. If today's your first time watching the show, we'd love to have you be a regular guest. It's Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. Tuesdays and Thursdays are a special day here on the Wake Up America show when we bring in the lovely Camelia Peterson for her regular segment. We love Camelia. What's up, CJ?
Good morning.
Glad to have you here, Camelia. To what do we owe the pleasure of your presence here at a hotel in Jefferson City, Missouri?
Well, more muddling around in the swamp. Now there are committee hearings this week, so in town for that. We had a hearing yesterday on judicial deference in Missouri. So following the Chevron case, at the federal level in SCOTUS, there's a lot of work that's being done at the state level to make sure that we are avoiding judicial deference at the state level as well. So there's legislation. We testified on that yesterday. And then today and tomorrow, there are other things such as, campus freedom of association bills that are being heard, and things to open up competition in the electricity market, all these, exciting, nerdy things. And tomorrow we are supposed to be testifying to hear some of the bills that would eliminate the state income tax in Missouri in the Senate.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You can't just throw something like that out there casually and not expect to get dissected on that one. Let's talk about that for a second. Donald Trump on the federal level has talked about eliminating the income tax. Of course, he wants to replace it with tariffs. I say eliminate the income tax and replace it with nothing, but that's just me. He's also got the Department of Government Efficiency on the federal level, but many states are trying to replicate the good things that are happening on the federal level, at least the good conversations, and bring those good conversations more stateside. Here in the state of Missouri, we have an income tax, a hated, detestable, disgusting, awful, no good, terrible, horrible idea. But now there's a conversation that's being had, or at least it will be if the weather holds, doesn't, end session tomorrow, about potentially eliminating Missouri state income tax. Fill us in.
Yes. So Missouri has taken a couple of steps down in reducing our income tax, but this year we had a governor that came in who campaigned on eliminating the income tax, and he's a businessman. So he gets it. He gets the economic impact on Missouri and the reality of how that affects businesses wanting to come into Missouri to provide all of those jobs and things that we need. So Missouri's been very stagnant economically and in terms of population growth. for a long time. So anyway, so he's come in and was really driving momentum on that. That really lit a fire under a coalition of legislators. And so there have been some obviously who've been working on this issue for years, but it's like a lot of things, you have those faithful few that are working on these good things for a long time, and finally you get the impetus that happens that really lights the fire. And so that's where we are this year for Missouri. And so we're hearing there are several Senate bills that are all the same as part of that coalition of legislators that filed bills. And so in the Senate, we're hearing those bills tomorrow's plan.
Now, the proposal to eliminate the income tax at the federal level is being matched with a proposal to replace it with tariffs. And I can imagine that here in Missouri that they're not quite as based as we might be and say, cut the income tax in Missouri, replace it with nothing. Because I imagine that there are some proposals to replace Missouri's income tax with something, are there not?
Sure. I mean, because we don't want to, obviously there are going to be the issues of, well, with the spending that you're already doing, like what do so you can cut, you can grow, like there are ways that you can accomplish, eliminating the income tax and still, maintaining a balanced budget. And one of those ways obviously is that you cut things. And so that's the big question right now. So the plan is also, this is something that's different about Missouri, is that we are very similar to Tennessee. So there's lots of comparisons to Tennessee because Tennessee does not have an income tax, and they're doing very well with that. And they've kept a lot of their other taxes very low as well. But the one thing that Tennessee has done that Missouri has not done is tax services. And several years ago, the Realtors Association bought themselves a ballot initiative that basically put a ban on taxing quite a few services in Missouri. So that has eliminated a revenue stream. And really, when you talk about a consumption tax, I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's a tangible good or if it's a product you provide in terms of a service that's not tangible. Like if we're going to be fair about the taxation part, like we should tax it all if we have to tax it at all. But so that is part of the plan, is that we would broaden that sales tax base. So people can actually see upfront what they're paying tax on instead of it being hidden in their paychecks. But that allows us to keep that tax rate low across the board, which is how it should be. But I will
say, you say, Camelia, though, but they start low and they get high. I'm looking up Tennessee right now. Tennessee has one of the highest combined state and local sales tax rates in the U.S. The state sales tax rate is 7%, with local governments adding up to 2.75. So it's like 9.75% sales tax. Oof.
So the projection, the projection on this, because they've run all of the numbers for Missouri, and right now our sales tax is on the state level is 4.225. And so they are working very hard to make sure that we don't go above that and that actually we drop that to 4%. But the other thing too is like they're also, we have some great people in the legislature, in spite of what you may hear from a few, nattering nabobs of negativity. We have some really great conservative people in there who are working very hard to find places where they can cut the budget. And I'm here to tell you, yesterday I heard something very exciting. So Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has an enormously bloated budget, like it does in a lot of states. And one of the representatives told me yesterday, he said, I found $5 billion, or maybe it was 1 billion. Anyway, it was a billion. He was like, that is just sitting there that can be cut out of DESE. And so they are looking, and the budget committee had DESE. They were hearing the education budget yesterday, and they were in that hearing for 10 hours. So they are really holding their feet to the fire, and there are places where we can cut the fat in Missouri. And so we do have people that are working on that.
Well, it's funny because we'll be in the Capitol. We'll be talking to like lawmakers, maybe a group of lawmakers. And, some people know who we are, right? And what our game is, Camelia. Like they know that we're the crazy libertarians. And so they know fully well where we stand when it comes to things like income taxes or sales taxes or what taxes in any way, shape, or form. But what's funny to me always are the people that you'll be standing around a group of Republicans and you'll be talking about the income tax, and you'll offer something like, well, what if we just get rid of the income tax and we don't replace it with anything? And there are Republicans who will look at you like,
of course,
like you have two heads, and they're like, no, we have to have revenue. We have to have revenue. And like, you know, it's just frustrating because I don't know. You're just replacing one evil with another in many ways, because you're still paying. What are you really going to, what are we going to pay overall less? I mean, what percentage would you say we would pay less in taxes? Would you say 10% savings? 10% in savings if we replace one scheme with another? I mean, what is it really going to be? Or is it, at the end of the day, is it all going to shake out to be the same tax rate, just in a different manner? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think, you know, both things probably, because right now we're at a 4.7% income tax rate. We're already paying, and add to that, like we're already paying sales tax on top of that, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if we drop our sales tax rate down to 4% across the board, let's just use that number because that's the goal. Then, you know, I think that we do pay less, but also it gives us more control over what we do pay in sales tax, because you're broadening that. You know, when you talk about broadening the sales tax base to services, you know, you're also talking, you know, this should make Democrats happy too, because they're always like, tax the rich. Well, who do you think disproportionately uses more services? You know, it's as far as, you know, consumption, and it's not going to be your lower income people. Like, they're not going to be the ones that are going out and hiring lawyers and buying big fancy houses, or, you know, name any other kind of service. So yes, there will be a certain number of services, like maybe getting your hair cut, where you'll have that'll be built into the price. But I think that it's going to have a negligible effect on, you know, most people in their everyday lives, as far as, you know, what they see that they are spending, you know, because they're already paying that sales tax right now. It's just that now they won't also be paying that income tax.
Yes. Amy J.E. is over in the chat. Hey, Amy says, but we do need some revenue unless you privatize everything. I'm not necessarily against that. I'm definitely for that.
Well, yes. So, you know, we've talked about this a lot, that, you know, we have our ideal North Star, and then we have to be pragmatic libertarians and move the football down the field.
I always laugh whenever I see some Democrats talking about something, and they're like, oh, it's all privatization. They're building up to tell this terrifying story of what's happening. They're like, and then they took the government services and then they privatized it. No, not that. Not privatization. And conservatives kind of get like that sometimes too, especially when you're talking about like the national parks or something. They'll be like, yeah, because my scheme is that, you know, with Doge going out there and you know, talking about, you know, getting rid of all these government programs and things like that, I will like sneakily introduce something in, like, perhaps we should sell off federal lands. We should auction them off, and people will be like, yeah, let's auction off all those federal lands, and then there will be like a certain subsector of conservatives who will be like, no, we need national parks. Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Riders in Cuba, and you're like, damn it! Just when I was about to privatize the hell out of everything, it's always the Republicans that come along and stab you in the back.
Some Republican friends like that.
That's how it is. It's how it is. You're like, we were on the verge of greatness, building our libertarian Death Star, and then they just had to come along and ruin it.
So let me tell you something real quick, because, you know, we talked about the Department of Government Efficiency, and the other day we talked about how that Missouri has these committees on government efficiency now in the House and the Senate. So the bill that I was testifying on yesterday was actually in the Senate side of that particular committee, so the Government Efficiency Committee. And one of the things they talked about is, you know, they made this portal where people can put in things that they see in government that need to be addressed, that would save Missourians money, and that gives an option to give a solution as part of that, right? So one of the things that the committee chair did was she talked about how much they've had come in on that just in the last, since they, you know, started it last week. And there have been, like, I don't know, more than 1,000, maybe 1,600 entries. Some of them are just airing grievances, right? You know, some of them are whatever. But they took and distilled down the ones that were like legitimately people trying to, you know, give legitimate problems with a solution. And I was like, it was kind of crazy, because she said, the number one thing that like a lot of people wrote in about and submitted on this form was about how the Department of Conservation is addressing the wasting disease problem with deer in the state. And I was like, this is like the nerdiest Missouri thing ever. Like, I would have never, ever guessed that like that would be the thing people would be calling for government efficiency. I'm like, hey, I'm here for it too.
I mean, I want to see government efficiency. See, the thing with Missouri is during the pandemic is our state budget exploded. They took all that federal money and they've got all this cash. And when the cash is out there, man, the politicians, they come a-hunting because the lobbyists, everybody wants to come up to the trough and gain access to the public trough so that they can siphon away all of that cash that's been saved up, right? But maybe they ought to. I liked the idea that they return that to the taxpayer, but I don't.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm speaking to Camelia Peterson this morning on the Wake Up America show. I had sent you this story from this woman / not woman on the Oscars. Did you happen to catch this? I know you're not big into pop culture, but did you have time to read about this story about this woman who, transgender woman who is making they're making such a stink about him at the Oscars. She was supposed to be Oscar bait doing this movie. Let me pull it up here. Name is Karla Sofia Gascón. And they were supposed to be down for a Best Picture here about a black drug dealer struggling to come to grips with the homosexuality, blah, blah, blah. And apparently a search on X had turned up for this transgender person saying things like, I'm sorry, is it just my impression or are there more Muslims in Spain? Every time I go to pick up my daughter from school, there are more women with their hair covered and their skirts down to their heels. Next year, instead of English, we'll have to speak Arabic. Oh my God. Now, shortly after the death of George Floyd, Ms. Gascon wrote, I really think that very few people ever cared about George Floyd. A drug addict, swindler, but his death has served to once again demonstrate there are people who still consider black people to be monkeys without rights and consider policemen to be assassins. They're all wrong. And she goes on, and I'll break this down, but do you kind of get the gist here of this story?
Yeah. The producers and all of these other people with the Oscars who are appalled now and don't know what to do with her. Like, how did they know which way to go? Because, here she's saying things that are like things they would probably agree with, about George Floyd. But then on the other hand, she's talking about the Muslims and Islam as a religion and doing it in the context of Europe. So, I mean, like, I know that you read the one, but, she was also talking about the terrible things that have been happening there and things that, she was making statements that a lot of us would agree with, I think in a lot of ways, but not very popular with, the circle of people she's in now.
Yeah. So here's the Reader's Digest version. Karla Sofia Gascón, she's known for her role in this film, Emilia Perez. She's become embroiled in this controversy due to these social media posts that she made in the past, which I was just reading some, right? And the backlash against Gascón intensified once these posts were brought to light. And some of this too is like her opponents for the Oscars. Like getting an Oscar is less of an award and more of a campaign. It's like a political campaign. That's how you get an Oscar, is you have to like really like fight for it and campaign for it. And so this, she was like a darling of the Oscars, right? It was like nominated for like 13 awards. Yeah, 13 Oscar nominations, including one for her. But she's had to like go away from all of these events. Her co-stars have just, it's kind of like they've J.K. Rowling'd her in a way.
Yeah, they've taken her off the promotional posters and everything.
Yes. So it's a conversation about the accountability of public figures for past statements and the impact on their professional lives. And it's kind of amazing, though. I like this story just because the turmoil that we see in Washington, D.C. in politics, it's playing out, too, in Hollywood and in the press. It's quite fascinating to see, isn't it?
Right. I mean, here they thought that she was their token trans person to advance, this ideology they've had going on. And what people do with their adult lives, like, who cares? Like, it's totally fine. But then she didn't fit into the mold that they wanted her to fit into. And it just kind of upset the apple cart. And that's really, I think, what's funny to watch about this. And I think especially, too, because her background is like she didn't transition. Like, she has been married to a woman since gosh, a long time now, right? Since she was like 19 or something, and just transitioned, I think maybe 5, 6 years ago. So, they've got kind of their trans Cinderella story, so to speak, and she's doesn't quite fit the mold as much as they would want her to.
She's a trans person who likes Hilter. Not Hitler, but Hilter. I hate it when people misspell. If you're going to talk about Hitler, like, spell Hitler correctly, please. Now, here's Ms. Gascón was even accused of liking Hitler based on this seemingly ironic comment from 2019. This is the same old story. Black slaves and women in the kitchen. But it is my opinion, and it must be respected. I do not understand so much World War against Hilter. He simply had his opinion of the Jews. Well, that's how the world goes.
Man, well, I guess
Is that a joke? Because
if she can't go on tour with the Oscars or whatever, I guess she can go on tour with Kanye.
Oh,
yeah.
So here's the thing. So does this mean that she gets a spot on the Nick Fuentes podcast? I mean, do they? I mean, because I feel as if when it comes to Fuentes and most of the white nationalist crowd, like, they accept black people. Like, if you're a Jew who thinks Israel should die, if you are a transgender person but you like Hitler, they'll probably still let you into the club. Have you noticed how diverse the white nationalists have become lately? It's like you've got Mexicans shooting up schools for Hitler.
Yeah, wow, right?
It is the Hispanic face of white supremacy. Remember that headline? And the conservatives are all like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, dude, I know some Nazi Mexicans, man. I tell you.
Well, what are you going to do? Because, we become increasingly diverse as a country, which is, what a lot of folks would like to happen. But then all of a sudden they start doing things that don't, like they've got to be countercultural, right?
Yeah, well, it's just funny because like the right calls the left, the trans people, like Nazis, like Islamofascists and all that stuff. But then you got so maybe the left has their trans Nazis and we have our trans Nazis. It's like that Ann Coulter comment where she says, our black people are better than theirs. Our trans are better than their trans. Our trans Nazis are better than their trans Nazis. Are you not entertained, Camellia? Are you not entertained?
I was just thinking, like, this is our reality show culture right now. I mean, we kind of saw them, like, it's like I don't know when we started to normalize this, but I know we talked about it a lot. And, when Trump first ran for president back in 2015, 2016, and it was like, it really did become about the entertainment value. And that hasn't, like, it's only gotten worse. Like, this is kind of where we are in terms of our politics, is it's very much reality show politics in many ways. And so you have, Congress people who are using their platform, nationally to say, like, the most outrageous stuff they can come up with to make a name for themselves in some way or the other. And it just is, I guess it's all bread and circuses, right? That's what we say now.
Bread and circuses. Camellia, you're such a trooper, and you've been such a good friend of the Wake Up America show. I appreciate all you do for us. I'm hoping my Twitter account might get restored. And I don't know when, but I called the lawyer last night because I'm just fed up with it because, at some point it becomes theft of services. Right. Because you pay for the account and then it's no response at all to a hacked account. I realize they've been deluged, but I specifically have seen these other like major accounts got theirs back with within like a day or two. And, I saw X was announcing that they were going to do they're going to have a digital wallet. We're going to be the everything app. Imagine keeping your finances in an X wallet and then your wallet gets hacked. And for like an entire week, they don't even respond to you. Can you imagine if your bank did something like that?
Yeah, I don't, there for a while, you saw Linda, what's her last name? Yaccarino?
Yaccarino,
anyway,
yeah.
Okay, and it's like she and, some of the others who are kind of high up in X like that were pretty active, and you would see them comment on a lot of this stuff for quite a while. You don't see that so much now, and definitely quality, we've talked about this, has gone down a lot in the last few weeks. And yeah, I mean, like you should have some legal recourse if you are paying for a service and a premium service and you are investing in ads and whatever else.
And they just raised the price. They just raised the price.
Right. So, I mean, like there is a level of customer service that I think is a reasonable expectation. And this instance has definitely exceeded, what should have been, you should have been able to, I think 48 hours, like, okay, 48 hours, that's fine, right? Maybe that's a reasonable expectation, and we've gone far beyond that. And that's just crazy to me. You can't really, and the thing is, like, Elon's talked about like this, he wanted X, like when he first took it over, like he talked about it being the everything app, which, I'm a fan of what he's been doing, but nobody's perfect. And I don't want it to be the everything app. Like, I don't want it to be another version of Instagram or, whatever else. Like, I don't need it to be everything, because once you start trying to do too many things, this is what happens. Your quality of service goes down. You need to do fewer things better.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just, it's really painful because there's so many, there's so many weak spots that it creates. And, like I was saying early on the show, I don't know if you were listening, but I was just kind of talking about how things like this really show you who your true friends are. For sure. I don't know if you saw, but Justin Amash had posted in support and was trying to help us out.
I see that one.
Yeah.
I saw Hannah's.
And you can see underneath the comments of the people who are like, no, don't bring him back. He's getting what he deserves. This is here's the thing. Not only am I being defrauded, other people are being defrauded. So essentially they're advocating for fraud because these scammers, these hackers are actually stealing from people. So these people who are in theory supposed to be your allies, right, fellow libertarians here in the United States, are actually your biggest enemies, fighting against you. And it's why people like you and I are members of the Republican Party here in Missouri, and why we work for established institutions to try and bring about change, because we sure as hell can't get any real support from the libertarian community, at least not anything that seems to move the needle, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. And I think that this is part of that. There are just it's a pretty large, unfortunately, segment of people who are just determined to be perpetually against something and mad and outraged. And we see it in Missouri right now when we're pushing for some of these good policies, but because there are these people who just want to they don't like anything that we do, they will cut off their nose to spite their face and speak out against. Are you talking about the Rhino?
Are you talking about the Rhino Watch people who are hounding your ass here in Missouri? These guys,
they
claim to be guardians of the Republic, Camellia. They're here to protect us all from people like you, establishment insiders like Camellia.
But they're going to find a way to argue against cutting the income tax. Darn it. How ridiculous can you get? I mean, it just is. Yeah, it is. And I think that that's people that are just going to be perpetually against everything and everyone and outraged. And it doesn't matter if they look stupid doing it. They want to hate you.
Yeah, no kidding. Camellia, anything else you want to share with our listeners or plug before we let you go?
Nope. Have a great day, everyone. And you can find me on X, although you can tell when I'm super busy because I'm not on there as much, but that's still my favorite spot in spite of all of Elon's screw ups lately. I still love it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm it's so ironic that I'm one of Elon's biggest fans out there supporting everything he's doing. But yet Elon is kind of fucking me by, posting about hairy balls and memes and screwing around while I'm sitting here hey bud, I'm trying to support the efforts here, and your company is hindering me from being able to support you. And what's funny, what's ironic, even more ironic, is that it's possible, Stephanie and I war gamed this yesterday, it's possible that this is not just a scam attack, but it may be politically motivated, because I've been seeing comments on some of my other social media from groups that are affiliated with left-wing organizations that are sort of trying to feed into the character assassination as if I actually am running this scam or something, and that I'm defrauding my followers. So it would be ironic if I'm supporting Elon, these people hacked my account and are attacking me, and then Elon is the one who is his ex is not like responding to my customer service complaints to giving me my account back. And now I have to call a lawyer and sue them. So irony upon irony of irony. That's how the world is. Thank you, Camellia, for everything you do for freedom here, especially here in the state of Missouri. You're doing a wonderful job. I'll see you tomorrow at the hearings.
All right. Let's do it.
I will testify in favor of abolishing the income tax, but I will say that I will be advocating in favor of replacing it with nothing. So
I'm all right with that. That's good too. Like, push them to do the cuts.
Yes.
Let's do it.
All righty. See you later, Camellia.
Have a great day, everyone.
Yay. It's the Wake Up America show. Speaking of carnivals and bread and circuses, oh no. Sometimes I hit the wrong button.
The outrage of the American public. And when you think about, there is the legal issue, but you have to think about what the what are the repercussions to American families. You take education. You're looking at denying people school lunches. You are taking the opportunity for a college education if you cut Pell Grants. You cut student financial aid. There are a whole range of what these services do for the American public. That's the word that has to get out. When you cut education, you cut 72,000. You cut Title I. 72,000 teachers nationwide are gone. Your kid may be in a classroom that doesn't have a teacher. Special education for developmentally challenged kids.
How could you be in a classroom that doesn't have a teacher? It doesn't quite make sense, lady. Democrats big mad about Donald Trump and Doge. Americans are outraged that the Trump administration is dismantling the federal government. They're so outraged, then why is his approval rating off the charts, lady? Well, it's because of things like this.
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision. But as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out. Well, I would say this.
Side-eye monkey, what's going to happen, Donald Trump, at 12 o'clock on Saturday? Here's your MAGA minute there. That was a good piece there. Yeah, but the Democrats are freaking out. Chuck Schumer takes to the floor to urge federal workers to use the Democrat whistleblower portal to report wrongdoing by Doge.
We believe in transparency. We believe in accountability.
No, you do not.
Donald Trump has tried to reshape our entire democracy to fit his unlawful impulses and serve his personal political interests. Senate Democrats won't let him. And so we have the whistleblower portal. We are urging Americans who see some real wrongdoing being created by this Doge thing to report.
Why the pause there, Chucky boy? By this Doge thing. Can we watch this again? I just love that dramatic pause. He's sitting there, he's so befuddled.
By this Doge thing to report it. I think all Americans want.
We're living at a time in the United States, we're living at a time in American history where it's actually interesting for most people to watch C-SPAN. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. Have you clicked that like button yet? It's nice to see 225 people joining us here live on the Wake Up America show. I'm grateful to have you here. I hope that many of you will choose to become regular viewers of the Wake Up America show because it is a 5-day-a-week show, and we're a super tight-knit community. If hanging out with really cool, patriotic fellow Americans is for you is like the most fun thing to do, then you're in the right place because our community over in the chat, especially at rumble.com/AP for Liberty, it's the only AP for Liberty that exists now. Way sad. World's smallest violin playing My Heart Bleeds for You. The community here at rumble.com/AP for Liberty is off the charts in terms of positivity, in terms of mutual aid and reinforcement. They're just terrific people. They're fun. They're funny. Just an incredible cast of characters. They should have their own show, to be quite honest. What do you say? We need like a Cantina Cruise show. That'll be the next show on the For Liberty Network. We'll get Amy J.E.'s, L-Dubs, First Class Out, Luke Sacker, Heartland Okie, Steelbringer, Joni Rankin, Shadow Collector, Decision Points. I think he has his own show. Good morning, sir. We're thankful that you've been joining us regularly lately, sir. Grizz Cheese. I mean, how can you not? I mean, Shadow Collector, that guy's, it sounds like a lot more fun than even the Wake Up America show, to be honest. But it's a great community, and it's all supported financially. Where does it come from? It doesn't come from U.S. aid. Hell no. It comes from U.S. aid from Americans, that which is given freely and voluntarily. Many people do Rumble rants like many of you did this morning. Some of you are like me. You like a little capitalism. You want to get your dirty little grubby paws all over our Gulf of America merchandise in our For Liberty shop. Guys, I made so much cool stuff, and Brad has been helping me to get these designs out there. Check this out. I designed a new Gulf of America merchandise line. And thank you, BB for Liberty, for putting it all together for me last night here. The Gulf of America Jolly Roger. I like the tote bag a lot, but for some reason, the people are all about the beach towels. So it's an American flag skull, the Jolly Roger, but it's not just a regular American flag skull. Oh, no. AP always has to fancy it up. And it's a low poly. We call it low polygon. Gulf of America pirate flag beach towel, available forlibertyshop.com. Visit forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com. Gee, it's a crummy commercial. Shut up. This is how I feed my baby. Drink more Ovaltine. Guys, it's not a crummy commercial. It's an awesome commercial. The Gulf of America merchandise collection is available now. As you can see over here from camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. From camera 2, you can see my beautiful 20-ounce tumbler, the Gulf of America mug. I was shocked at how much I loved this. When I took it to the gym yesterday. It's good insulation, and I'm so used to the big, gigantic cups or my humongous thermos that it's like you can't like write off like the comfort and convenience of having like a nice little skinny tumbler like this, but it does hold a lot of water or alcohol or whatever it is. You can get these exclusively because we designed them at forlibertyshop.com in our Gulf of America merch collection. There's also pillows, not just tumblers and blankets. We've got dad hats. People actually like the fanny packs. And sandals as well as candles. And somebody bought a Gulf of America onesie for their little baby yesterday. Gulf of America is now the official title on our maps. So let's celebrate by going to forlibertyshop.com and get yourself some Gulf of America stuff. Shadow Collector, do me a favor. He wants golf gear for the Gulf of America. I will get that for you today if you promise that you will buy some. So here's what we'll do for you, Shadow Collector. This is how much we're dedicated to customer service. If you send me a text message to the show's line, send me a text message. I will create some for you today, some golf gear, and then I will just text you the links to what we create, and we'll do that. So let us know what you want to see. BB for Liberty over in the chat. That's Brad Beckman. He helps design and produce a lot of the items you see at forlibertyshop.com. Get yourself a cute Gulf of America onesie for your little baby over at forlibertyshop.com. Or if you prefer the Jolly Rogering, I know many people do love themselves a good Jolly Rogering, if you know what I mean. But if you're just the old-fashioned type, get yourself a really cool Gulf of America patriotic pirate t-shirt at forlibertyshop.com. Thank you, Mongoose87 says, if you like pina coladas. No, he said football and memes. Please check out his new Facebook page, Lifelong Chiefs Fan. It's a friendly jab at NFL bandwagon fans. Very clever, Mongoose87. Clever boy, having me read your advertisement. There we go. What have I seen? What got you hacked was not prevalent in the rest of the crypto. What got you hacked was not prevalent in the rest of the crypto outlets that I follow, says Heartland Alki. Yes, mine was very different from a lot of these crypto scams that have been going on. I mean, and it's been pretty bad, the crypto scams over on X. But what was the difference, Heartland Oki, that you noticed? I wonder if they are the same, if you notice the same things that I noticed in the scams that have been going on over on X. I actually reached out yesterday to the producer of this video, who did a really good breakdown of these. It's a little too long for us to go into long details. It's like 23 minutes long, but here's the intro for it. We can kind of see him talking about these scams. I reached out to him. I'm going to try and have him on my show.
X, formerly Twitter, has a huge problem right now. It is being absolutely overrun by scammers, specifically crypto scammers. Let me show you something here. What you are seeing right here is a post that I made on X trying to see if I could bait scammers into replying to my post, and this is what happens probably about 5 minutes or so after I made the post. As you can see here, I have exactly 18 replies replying to me with complaint emails for Trust Wallet, how I can go and resolve my issues and get in contact with people, all in these random Gmails, and it's from random accounts. This Sendai guy, Jody guy, Valerie Hall, Carolina, all these different accounts, and this is literally 5 minutes after I made this post. Today, I'm going to show you guys how X is being overrun by crypto scammer bots and the locations where most of these scams are coming from.
Yeah, so the thing is about these scams is that they hack your account and then they have all these posts that invite you to restore your account, and it's just like inundated with dozens and dozens of posts when you post, if you talk about, account being hacked. Right. So the thing is that my account is hacked. It's under the control of scammers, crypto scammers. Weirdly, they posted all their scams and then deleted them all. And nothing's been posted since the day I get hacked. And I was able to, using a third-party API, post to my account to let people know that it was hacked. Don't listen to any of the crypto scams that come out of this website, that come out of this account. But the way that my hack went down is different from a lot of the way that the other hacks have gone down, right? So were other crypto scams posted on other accounts? Yeah, some guy from the Philadelphia Eagles, who was one of the football guys in the Super Bowl the other day, apparently he also had the same hack happen to him. So it is weird, but maybe it's just that they got the money, they took the money, they run, and they don't care about running the account. But I mean, they could continue to use it and they could defame me. So I mean, I'm kind of shocked that it hasn't gone on.
Email address, which I did, and then I had to choose a first scammer to go through and try and make contact with. And the first one here, as you can see, is Carol Judith, which of course these are not real people. These are all bot accounts, either set up by the scammers or accounts that have been compromised by the scammers sending out fake messages. These are not the pictures of the actual scammers. But if we take a look here, we can see some nice message from her here. I'll advise you to seek guidance from support. MetaMask.
Right, this is how they really rip you off. So first they post the crypto scam and they rip off all the people who are following you. Then they say, when you post or something about being hacked, or when people talk about being hacked, these scammers come on and they say, hey, I'll give you back your account. Contact me here. Well, of course, what they want to do is gain access to your financial records.
feedbackp@gmail.com. And man, Carol has been going to work. So I originally took this screenshot all the way back right there. You can see January 29th, 2025. It is now the 3rd of February, almost an entire week later, and she is still going. The bot is still posting over 1,000 posts, posting in different languages now too, but going crazy, as you can see on the screen right now. Absolutely insane. So what I'm going to do now is start writing up an email and seeing if I can get in contact with this scammer. So now I take the scammer's email address and I get ready to write an email here. Now, I wasn't very sure what I should send here because this is actually the first time I've ever sent an email like this to a scammer, trying to bait them. So I said, I am trying to get my ETH back on MetaMask. I bought some a little while ago and now it seems that it has all gone out of the wallet. Is this normal? How do I get it back? Please help. So I'm basically trying trying to sound like somebody that is very naive with crypto, doesn't really know how to use it, and I'm hoping that the scammer is going to see that and be like, yeah, we can probably steal from this guy. Let's take advantage of the situation. So then I went ahead and sent that email over to him. And not too long after that, I get this email literally 2 minutes later from MetaMask support. Dear user, thank you for contacting MetaMask. Kindly provide us with your wallet address. This will help our systems identify the issues with your wallet and provide the means to resolve it. Kind regards.
So, this is obviously a scheme for them to try and like get access to his crypto stuff. What's the interesting thing that goes on in this is that they found the website that the hackers use, and apparently they're in Nigeria. I don't know if that's where mine are from, but that's where these particular scammers are from. But the website has been flooded with them. But he like contacted the domain registrar who hosts the website that are running the scams and asked and provided evidence that they were scamming and asked them to take it down, and the domain registrar just said no. So there's a lot of aiding and abetting going on with these scams around the country, around the world. A lot of aiding and abetting. So their crime is private. Here's some crime from people who commit it in the public's name.
This will be a congressional fight, a constitutional fight, a legal fight, and on days like this, a street fight. Yes, we will stand.
Oh, interesting. Democrats proposing a street fight to stand up against Donald Trump's agenda. Sounds very insurrection-y to me. What do you think?
We just tried to the Treasury building as of Congress to our taxpayer money and our government.
Somebody needs to turn down the gain on that guy's microphone.
We just tried to the Treasury building as of Congress.
These are Democrats protesting outside the Treasury as of yesterday.
We will, because we need to provide oversight to Elon Musk and his team. We don't know what they're doing behind these closed doors.
Swinging around their big hairy balls.
The people deserve transparency.
Decision points, yes. That earlier video was from the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection video. And now this is the Democrats at the Treasury.
The fact that an unelected billionaire has all your private information is a problem.
Oh, so we can't trust him with it, but we can trust you guys with it for sure.
He has access to all of our information.
What do you think he's going to do with it? What do you think Elon's going to do? You think Elon, like the world's richest man, you think he wants to like defraud Social Security? He doesn't want your money, you morons. You're all the broke bitches out there. The only way that you could get rich is not create a business and create value. You couldn't sell Founding Flavors coffee if it like killed you. You couldn't sell a damn thing to anybody to make a living. You had to go to the public trough. These people, they go there and they make $100,000 a year on the taxpayer's dime, and then they just filter fraud, all of the taxpayer dollars into their pockets through the lobbying and the graft and the corruption. But Elon Musk is going to get your Social Security number so he can get grandma's $23,000 a year.
Social Security numbers, the federal payment system, which means he's calling the shots on our taxpayer money.
Which means he's calling the shots on our taxpayer money. Good. God bless it. You love to see 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 it. It's because our money goes to things like these that we don't care. We want Elon to find out. We want some accountability in government. It's because of things like this.
So, disaster relief. This is a falsehood. Disaster relief funds used on immigrants illegally in the U.S. The fact is, no money is being diverted from response needs. That's the fact. So, disaster relief, this is a falsehood. Disaster relief funds used on immigrants.
So, Elon Musk, here's his tweet. It says, the Doge team discovered FEMA sent $59 million last week, posted this yesterday, to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal immigrants. Sending this money violated the law and is in gross insubordination in the president's executive order. A clawback demand will be made today to recoup these funds. They were putting illegal immigrants up into luxury hotels. Last week, $59 million had gone out. This is from the Biden administration before. And boy, what a turn of fate, twist of fate we have seen with people like Elizabeth Warren, who as a crusader, a citizen crusader, she was the one she's all about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Let me tell you decision points. That there's one person who is responsible for all the miasma of chaos and corruption at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. It's this Elizabeth Warren, who's just a humble school marm, book lady, librarian, just trying to bring, take down the corruption in Washington, D.C. And now here she is a senator. Here she is in 2009.
When that much money disappears, it's usually because somebody broke some laws somewhere. But if we don't look, if we don't ask, if we don't uncover it and make it all public, we'll never find out.
We are here to fight back.
When that much money disappears, it's usually because somebody broke some laws somewhere.
Oh, really, Liz?
But if we don't look, if we don't ask, if we don't uncover it and make it all public, we'll never find out.
Find out, Liz? Oh, that's you in 2009. Now here's you in 2025 trying to keep all this corruption private.
We are here to fight back.
When that much money disappears,
Nice. We'll never find out. Liz Warren. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America Show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. It has been a pleasure the last 2 hours. I'm just really glad that I have people like you out there. I see now in times of trouble, whisper words of wisdom, unhack me. I see who your friends are in this kind of situation. When the chips are down, the people who stand up and have your back. I see people like Amy J. Ease. I see Decision Points, who's been one of our new friends joining us here in the chat. You guys should follow his account over on Rumble. He's got his own show, too. I believe he's the gentleman who joined Daniela over on Culturama, another fellow patriot. We've got Robbie Thurman. We've got Luke Sacker, Joni Rankin, Heartland Okie, Whitey White 14 of all people, for the love of God, Seesan Garoff, and BB for Liberty, of course. He's on the team. Entropy Nomad, who's like funding our revolution. We appreciate you, Entropy, man. We couldn't do it without you, brother. Quest Fanning, and so many others, like Cecilia H., another funder of the revolution. There would have been no American Revolution. There would have been no rebellion without Entropy Nomad and without Steelbringer and without Cecilia H. and, L-Dubs and others. Quest Fanning. Why don't you join your fellow patriots? Well, join us in Washington, D.C., guys. Sign up today. Join the AP DC Liberty Tour. Let's meet in person. Let's build stronger bonds as a community. This is more than a show. This is real political activism. Tomorrow, after the show is over, I will get off of the program and I will go over here to Jefferson City, the state capitol, and I will argue and testify in front of our Congress critters about why we need to abolish the income tax here in the state of Missouri. So remember, yes, I'm a business, but when you buy Founding Flavors or you buy For Liberty, you make it possible for me to go out there and do even more freedom fight. That street fighting that they're talking about, the Democratic congressman. Street fighter, baby. Kyokushin karate. Arigatou gozaimasu. Ono no shito hashite imasu. Hai. Hai. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Churon shuto uke. Kokutsudachi churon shuto uke. Joranage uke. Churon suki. Geiran barai. Hai. Arigatou gozaimasu. Sayonara. See you tomorrow, guys. Exit through the gift shop, forlibertyshop.com. I don't know how to say that in Japanese. I only know karate Japanese. Have a good day, guys.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.